Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Nobody, and today we're at the Untrained Unprofessional Workbench, and I am working on my everyday carry. Now, I guess I should say I'm not really working on my actual everyday carry. I'm working on upgrading to a different one, and it's not too much of a difference. I'm currently carrying a Glock 43, just a standard one, nothing special about it. It's got a few little upgrades, connectors, the sights, etc. And I am going to a Glock 43X MOS. So definitely an upgraded version, but not a huge change. I mean, the ergonomics of everything is going to stay the same, other than I'm going to have a little bit more grip to hold on to, which will be nice, and I don't have a huge hand, but that can be a little annoying, of course. Now, what we're doing today is I'm going to be dropping on an EPS Carry onto the MOS. Now, the thing that I've been looking at, with this is that it does come with a plate to be able to sit on to the MOS system. But I've also been doing a little bit of research, and there's a way to eliminate this and helps your dot to sit just a little bit lower. And if everything works out right, I can keep the stock height sights, which I think is going to be a win-win. Let's look at a couple things. Now, as you can see, you can barely make out the top of the sights with the optic plate mounted. Okay, so you're going to have to use your imagination on this just a little bit, because with how the top of the slide is machined and everything, and the bottom of the dot is machined, it's sitting at an angle kind of tilted down. But the main thing we're going to focus is on how much we can see our stock factory sights. So you're not going to see the dot really, because the dot is aimed down. But we're just getting an idea of how much of the sight we can see. And it's going to get even better once this area is flat. Right there. Okay, so today's plan is to take off these little posts here on the back. Now, doing some research online, sometimes people have talked about having to reduce the height of these front posts. We're going to cross that bridge when we get there. We're going to see what we can do with doing that, and then potentially move on to that. So let's go to the workbench. So to tackle this, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the Dremel and take off as much material as I possibly can. I'm not too worried about getting it absolutely perfect, because it's going to be hidden underneath the dot. So, and afterwards, I'll go ahead and hit it up with some type of cold blue. That way it'll protect it from rusting. Alright, so I'm using this piece of steel here and running it over, and I'm not feeling anything hanging up on it. So we got enough material removed. It's not going to get any better than that. So now I just need to go ahead and use a little bit of cold blue and touch it up. Alright, make sure the area is clean, just using some alcohol. And you may be looking at that going, well, it's not that pretty. Again, it's sitting underneath the red dot. So it's not like it's something that's going to be very visible. And also, I didn't want to take a whole lot of time on this. I got other things to do today. And that's something that you kind of have to weigh, is the cost-benefit analysis of how much time you're going to take versus the final product. Now, if this was something that, let's say I was a gunsmith and I was going to be doing this for a customer, I would take a heck of a lot more time on this and make it worthwhile, unless they were sitting right here going, hey, hurry up. And I would tell them, fine, let's do this super quick. A little bit of blackening. What I'm using is what's called Dichropan. You can get it from Brownells. And it is a blackening chemical. And just with that first quick little pass, it's basically hiding it. Before I stop for the day and clean this all up, let's go ahead and see what it looks like, again, with the dot sitting flat on the slide. So as you can see the stock sights really well. So it makes a perfect backup sight without having to put on suppressor height sights. Alright, so the last thing that I really have to do on this, which is really no big deal. I mean, it's like, I'm just going to be shortening screws so that way I can tighten this onto the slide. And I particularly want to pay attention to the right side, just because if the screw is too long, it'll actually hit that little plunger that gives you your spring tension against your extractor, and you'd have problems with extracting. So I need to pay particular attention to that, but that's boring. Who cares about shortening screws, right? So, but I think worthwhile little mod. And again, can you see where I took anything off? No. It's all good. Thanks for watching, guys. There we go.